Hello, this is George Shears again with Chapter 9 of A Modern Pilgrim's Progress, my long journey in discovering non-duality. In case you've missed some or all of the previous chapters, they're all available on my YouTube channel, along with this one, Chapter 9. So, here we go. Slide A. As I continued my tenure at Abbott Northwestern Hospital, I increasingly shared with my clients some of the basics of Buddha Dharma. Also, around 1977 or 78, I developed a key insight while engaged in therapy with a particular woman patient named Pat. I saw very suddenly and clearly how the difficult issues that she was subject to as an adult remarkably and strongly replicated what she had experienced in early childhood. Thereafter, I became aware of how this was equally true for literally all of my clients. I came to call this very lawful phenomenon, quote unquote, internal tyranny, and then went on to create a novel and powerful new form of therapy, quote unquote, provocative psychodrama, to address it specifically. That key insight, essentially, that we become strongly conditioned very early in life to very compelling, controlling, and limiting core beliefs, provided further impetus to a much more far-reaching perspective that has now matured more generally into non-duality. In February 1993, upon watching the Bill Moyer series, Healing in the Mind, I first became aware of how Dr. John Kabat-Zinn was introducing mindfulness meditation to pain patients at the UMass Hospital in Worcester, Massachusetts. I initially thought that he must be crazy to try to teach this to ordinary folks who were likely to regard it as pure poppycock. I learned, however, that I was completely wrong. In fact, his patients found it to be a very effective way to cope with their pain. In summer 1993, both Mildred and I attended a week-long professional training program conducted by Dr. Kabat-Zinn and a colleague at the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. That turned out to be another watershed event for me. As a result, in 1994, I started the very first mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, program in a Minnesota hospital at Abbott Northwestern, where I worked. I continued to lead this highly successful program until 1999, when I retired. Slide C. On my long and ardent search of the world's many wisdom traditions, I encountered non-duality repeatedly in its many aliases. I now recognize clearly, in fact, that it was and is the very essence of what Aldous Huxley called, quote unquote, the perennial philosophy that had been a main driving force in my long search. It was, however, only through attending a non-duality conference in San Diego, California in 1998 that I began to see how it is intrinsically at the core of these many varied traditions. This recognition was, for me, much like seeing planet Earth as a unified whole from outer space for the first time. The highly impressive faculty of this introduction to non-duality included Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, Coleman Barks, and Ram Dass, among others. It was the first main exposure of Eckhart Tolle in the U.S. He then went on, with Oprah Winfrey's support, to become a very popular and successful trailblazer in introducing his non-dual perspective in North America and subsequently throughout the world. Slide D. Following that conference, I have deepened and extended this perspective greatly through a highly concentrated exposure to a number of contemporary master teachers of non-duality. Chief among them are Rupert Spira, Bernardo Kastrup, Donald Hoffman, Ian McGilchrist, the late Peter Brown, and John Aston, along with an ever-expanding list of many others. Non-duality has flourished markedly over the last several years, thanks to a new organization, Science and Non-Duality, under the direction of Maurizio and Zaya Benazzo. Through its annual international conferences in California and many local ones in several other countries, it aims to promote the integration of ancient non-dual wisdom with cutting-edge Western science, particularly quantum physics. Bernardo Kastrup, a brilliant computer scientist and iconoclastic philosopher, has compellingly set forth his non-dual analytic idealism as a radical and revolutionary alternative to the reigning materialism/physicalism that has led the world into a nihilistic dead end. If there is a future human history, I'm highly confident that he will become known as a modern Copernicus. And that will end chapter 9, and I'll plan to be here with the final chapter, chapter 10, in the very near future. I thank you much for watching, listening, and we'll plan to be talking to you again soon. Bye for now.